My name is Kate Galangowski. I am the Director of Special Events here at Drexel, and we're really excited, myself and my colleagues who will be presenting on our behalf are really excited that you're joining us today in this virtual space. The way that our presentation is going to work this afternoon is that we will be having a formal presentation. The formal presentation should take no longer than about a half an hour, and then we'll have some time for question and answer. Any questions that you have throughout the course of our time together, please feel free to drop them in the chat. You can either send them in the chat to everyone, or you can send them in a chat directly to me. We do still have about 100 people that are making their way into our presentation today. So I'm going to try to let that go through just a couple more before we get started. And we will have, we will be addressing some of the questions that are already coming in. So please bear with us as we are making our way and waiting for some of these folks to join us. Looks like we're getting there. We're almost through everyone who's in the queue for the waiting room. If you're coming in through the waiting room right now, again, my name is Kate Galangowski. I'm the Director of Special Events here at Drexel. We would ask that you please do not share your video or audio with us. We are being recorded today, and this session will go up on our website. So please, as you are joining us, mute your audio and don't share your video. If you can see yourself, we can also see you. So please do us a favor and make sure that you are muted so we have the best experience for all of our guests here, and that you're not sharing your video with us. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. It looks like we have just a few people who are still in the waiting room. I think this guest tally is one of the highest we've had in a while. We're at about 435. Which is great. I do hear a little bit of background noise, so if you are not muted, please go ahead and mute yourself. If your audio is being shared, we can also hear your TV, your dogs barking. I would love to see all your dogs, but right now we have to get through the start of the session. So again, please do not share your audio. Please do not share your video. We will be answering questions in our group chat when we get to the question and answer session. We have a lot of things coming in right now, so we're great and we're excited to answer those questions, and we will get to them when we get to everyone. I think we're going to go ahead and get started with our presentation. I will be admitting additional folks as they come in. To my fellow presenters, as folks come in, if you could just please, I'll mute myself, remind folks to make sure that they're not sharing their audio and video so we can have the best experience for everyone with us today. With that, I am going to turn it over to my colleague, Sarah Olson. I believe she is going to start our presentation to touch a little bit on campus dining programs. And as you have any additional questions, please feel free to pop them in the group chat, and we will get to them during the question and answer session of our presentation. For those of you joining us and just joining us, one last time, my name is Kate Galangowski. I am the Director of Special Events here at Drexel. We are going to get started with our formal presentation. Please do not share your video, do not share your audio with us. We are being recorded, and we will be posting this on the website as well if you missed some of it. So with that, I am going to turn it over to my colleague, Sarah Olson, and I will leave you in her very capable hands to start off our presentation.
Thank you, Kate. Hello, like Kate said, my name is Sarah Olson. I am the Director of Dining and Auxiliary Services within the Business Service Department of Drexel University. So today I'm going to talk about our dining program and the campus dining experience for you and your incoming students. It's happening. Okay, great. So for those that are just joining us, please make sure that you are muted and that you are not sharing your video. This whole presentation will be recorded. So we want to make sure that if you're, obviously are uncomfortable with having your video be a part of our recording, that will go online, that you are not sharing your video and you are not sharing your audio. Once again, my name is Sarah Olson. I'm the Director of Dining Auxiliary Services here at Drexel University, and I'm going to talk a little bit for the next 15 minutes or less about our dining program here at Drexel. So first and foremost, amongst everything going on right now, and I already saw some questions in the chat pop up, your student safety is by far our #1 priority here in campus dining. We are committed to the safety and well-being of our students, faculty, staff, guests, as well as our staff within our campus dining area. We've implemented additional safety processes, protocols, and such to help ensure the safety of our dining operations. Cleaning high-touched areas with CDC-approved chemicals, substantial and ongoing employee training and PPE requirements are being mandated. Targeted signage to ensure folks are aware of the need to do more aggressive hand sanitation within the dining facility once they enter, as well as trying to limit the no-touch services, as well as limiting the buffet and self-serve options are all just a little snippet of what we are doing already and will increase, if not maintain, for the upcoming fall term. Again, obviously, things in our dining program might look a little different next year with everything going on, but all of these differences will be focusing on the health and safety of your student as, again, our top priority. So I'm going to reference our campus dining team throughout this presentation. That includes myself, my assistant director, Chanel Stepney, who is on the line as well as some other partners of the Aramark campus dining team. A couple of them are actually here with us tonight. So Nick Mendez, who's our district manager of the Drexel account, and executive chef Tom Ramsey are both on the call this evening and will be assisting me with all of the Q&A and all of the great questions I'm sure you all are preparing for us. So in Drexel Campus Dining, we really want to focus on getting your student the best in quality and nutrition while they are on campus with us. So we really focus on fresh, sustainable, local, and organic experiences and quality indicators for our chef-inspired meals. We also make sure that we're staying on trends with our menus and featuring a plentiful bounty of vegan, vegetarian, and plant-forward options within our dining program. Our team of culinary and nutritional experts are dedicated to delivering a well-balanced, nutrition-heavy meal, specializing in different diet options and doing a complete menu transparency concept. We want to make sure that we're letting folks know everything we're serving, as well as the nutritional aspects of what we're serving pretty upfront so that people can choose and get the experience within the dining program they're looking for. So again, your satisfaction, your student satisfaction is our #1 priority. We really focus on cultivating and creating a student-centered atmosphere within our dining program and student experience. We try to create special events, tastings, different theme menus, all again to try to engage your students within the dining program, making sure that they feel that our dining facilities are another kitchen and home to them while they're on campus. So we have 9 locations across the University City campus. I'll be showing you a map of those in just a moment. We really, again, focus, I mentioned this already, it's just a heavy focus for us on nutrition and wellness to make sure that those resources are provided to you all in abundance. We have an on-site dietitian. We've, again, detailed nutrition cards in our dining halls outlining what our items are that are available in the halls, as well as the nutritional facts around them, including allergen aspects. No grocery shopping or cooking would be necessary for your students when they are on one of our dining plans. We have all access, we want to really make our kitchen your students' kitchen and home again while they are here. And we want to make sure that they are able to get their grocery style items in our on-site convenience store, along with other, not just groceries, but other day-to-day items they might be looking for. All the meal plans that I'll be going over in a second are conveniently billed to your students' Drexel e-bill. And we actually have a little more variety in our meal plans than we ever had before. So as I referenced a moment ago, this is our dining map. This is kind of Drexel's campus map, and we have our dining locations popped up right here for you all to view. If you look towards where the pullout for sushi, Chick-fil-A, Subway, the market, which is the grocery area I was referencing, convenience store, I should say. That's all within the Northside Dining Terrace, which is actually located right in the heart of our residence halls. We have a coffee shop in the LeBeau College of Business, another coffee shop in the building. And then we have our other dining options down the other side of campus where a lot of the classes take place, which includes our Hans Schumacher Dining Center. So just to review our Drexel Campus Dining plans for our first year freshman residents, for all first year and freshman residents, students that they are required to choose one of our 3 dining plans. So we have our all access plan with $50 dining for $1,850 per term, our all access plan with $225 dining for $1,995 per term, and our all access plan with $400 dining for $2,150 a term. We really wanted to give that variance in value to really allow for the most bang for your buck with the $400 dining all access plan. It really allows you to get a plethora of dining dollars, which again are accessible. We'll go over the details in a moment, but they're accessible in all of our dining locations. The meal swipes, I'll kind of get into the details of meal swipe, which is referencing the all access aspect of the plans, and the dining dollars, which are called out right in the plans. So meal swipes can be used at both the all you care to eat locations, Hans Schumacher Dining Center, which I referenced when I was pointing out towards the more academic side of campus, as well as our newly renovated Urban Eatery, which features 7 food hall inspired concepts, which is located closer to the residence hall side of campus. Meal swipes can be used as well at the cafe at the Perlman Center for Jewish Life. Meal swipes do not roll over term to term, but we are sure to provide usage update emails weekly at the end of the terms to ensure that your students are aware of what they have left in their meal swipe buckets. Again, the second aspect of the meal plans are dining dollars. Dining dollars are accepted at every location within our dining program. And again, the dining dollars do roll over term to term, so from fall term to winter term and winter to spring term.
Sarah, really quickly, we can incorporate this question into the presentation. We're getting a lot of questions to define terms. So if you wouldn't mind just defining term as we continue the presentation. Thanks.
Sure. So I will re-review. I presume the terms that we are referencing.
They're just asking if a term is per quarter or if the meal plan is for the whole year.
Sorry.
The word term, I apologize.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Can you go back just a quick moment to the last
absolutely
slide?
Can.
Great. Okay. So they, when I'm saying per term, so a term is going to be the fall, winter, or spring terms that your student goes through as a first-year student at Drexel. So our fall term is from September 12th through December 12th. Our winter term is, I believe, January 6th-ish, 4th, thank you, through the 20th of March. And our spring term is the 28th-ish of March through June 12th. So it's about a few months, you know, on average. Each term is about a few months in time frame. So these costs are per term. These dining dollars and all are per term, but again, dining dollars do roll over. Meal swipes are access to our all you care to eat facilities, which again, there is one, the Hans Schumacher Dining Center, which is down toward their academic area of campus, and the Urban Eatery, which is in more of our residential side of campus. Kate, did I hit on most of those questions? Great. So just to give you, and hopefully this will answer, I wanted to try to get here because it provides some more clarification and clarity here. So the meal swipes, again, all you care to eat facilities, Urban Eatery and Hans Schumacher Dining Center, as well as the cafe at the Perlman Center for Jewish Life. Meal swipes are you swipe in, you can go eat a variety of different foods in more of a buffet style experience, or you know, you can really also go in and out pretty quickly. So if your student wants to go into an all you care to eat facility, they go out, one of their friends texts them and they want to go back into those all you care to eat facilities. Their meal swipes are continuous and accessible throughout the day. And that's really where that all access aspect of the dining plans come into play. Now the dining dollars are again in those different quantities per plan, and they are accessible at all of our 9 dining facilities. So our dining plan registration process opens tomorrow, June 5th, or around 10 p.m. or 10 a.m., I should say. In order to access your dining application, you're going to go into your Drexel One portal, click the Campus and Communities tab. You are going to select your housing and dining area. When you're in there, you'll select the housing application. Your dining application is within your housing application. From there, you'll be prompted through a few different pieces, including choosing one of those 3 first-year dining plans. Our last piece of this presentation from the dining side of the house is going to be referencing your Dragon card. But so everybody's aware, your Dragon card, which is your identification at Drexel, is not only for your dining plan. I'll get into how that relates in a moment. It is also your ability to access different buildings, your residence halls, campus resources, things of that nature. So it really is your full identification you want to have on you at all times when you come to Drexel. It also holds your dining plan. Your meal swipes and your dining dollars are all accessible through swiping your Dragon card. Please upload your photo to be put into your Dragon card ID. We are hoping to have y'all upload those by the end of the summer. You can do that anytime from this moment all the way through the summer by going to Campus and Communities tab and clicking your Get portal, and then there is the prompts to upload your photo. If you go to our best practices page, which is, you know, in the Drexel Campus Business Services page under the Dragon card area, you can see the different specs for uploading your photo so it uploads appropriately. I did also want to reference as one last note, as a part of our dining program and our campus ID program, we do have something through the system we use, we just call the Get app. It is accessible to be downloaded through your Android or Apple phones, any smartphone. And that Get app will also allow you to have the swipe capability of your ID for your dining dollars and meal swipes within our dining halls with a completely no touch option. So, well, as we continue throughout the summer, we will be communicating some more details about the dining program, the Get app, things like that. But if you're looking for more information on the Get app at the moment, you can again go to the Drexel Business Services website and go into the dragon card aspect of our site and get some more information there. That's about it from our end. I will be back probably a little bit later to answer all of your many questions, which I'm excited to get to. I'm going to pass it off to our lovely friends over in the Housing and Residence Life area. Sasha?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Sarah. So first I want to introduce myself, and I'll have my colleague introduce herself as well. My name is Sasha Gambard. I'm the Associate Director for Housing and Residence Life, and I oversee a lot of the occupancy here on campus.
And to introduce myself, my name is Madeline Huff, and I am the Assistant Director of Occupancy Management and Conference Services within Drexel's Housing and Residence Life Department. So just to begin, we are incredibly excited to welcome all of our dragons onto campus into our Drexel residence halls. It is a living environment that complements the students' educational experience and contributes to the students' growth and development, not only academically, professionally, and also personally, and kind of helping your student go from living at home to college to really being independent. And we also really like to encourage engagement throughout the Drexel community through our residence halls.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the fall housing update that your students received from us just yesterday. This is a lot of text on the screen, and I know that your students received this if they are participating in our roommate matching starting tomorrow. I am going to go ahead and read it, but I know I'm a visual learner, so if it's helpful for you to read to yourself, that is completely fine. So with everything that's happening, we did want to announce a change in our fall housing. We will be converting our traditional and hybrid halls to single occupancy for fall quarter. And what that means is the buildings, the students living in those buildings will not have any roommates. And so that includes Bentley, Millennium, Myers, and Towers Hall. The rate for the fall rooms will remain the same. So your student will still be paying a double rate, even though they will be living in the room by themselves. Depending on the enrollment changes and additional student requests to live on campus, and of course the prevalence of COVID-19 at that time, we may consider assigning roommates to single occupancy rooms in the winter or spring quarter. It's too early to say right now. The students who really love living by themselves will have an opportunity to remain in that room by themselves and buy out that second space potentially in the winter quarter. So more information about that later in the term. Okay. Now our suite style buildings, those will remain the same. So they will be still double occupancy. So that will be 4 to 6 students per suite, or 1, 2, or 3 bedroom apartments, depending what hall you're in. And so that includes, sorry, it's hard to see with the pop-ups. That includes Canaris, North, Race, and Van Rester halls. And so they'll still share a bedroom with other residents in that suite, but they'll only be sharing the bathroom and the kitchenette with those suite mates or apartment mates. Versus in our traditional halls, they'll be sharing a bathroom on the floor with at most 19 students, and that number is reduced by half of what it typically is.
Alrighty, so I've been looking through the group chat, so most of y'all do have questions in regards to roommate matching after our fall update that went out and after what Sasha just discussed. So roommate matching will become available to students starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. So Friday, June 5th, and roommate matching will go through Friday, June 19th. So students in the roommate matching step of your housing application, you can search for roommates using the lifestyle questionnaire that is answered in your housing application. So what you will be able to do there is you can see the percentage matched based with other students who completed their housing application. So you can see that maybe you matched with John by 89%, where you may see somebody with the name Mark that you match only 50%. with. And then as well, for those of you that already have preferred roommates that you would like to room with, you will be able to search for a student by their information. So the information that you will need is going to be the student's last name as well as their user ID. So their user ID is not going to be their 8-digit student ID number. It is actually going to be the first part of their Drexel email address. So for example, it's going to be part of their initials, so ABC with a few numbers behind it, like 1, 2, 3. And then students who are participating in a living learning community or gender inclusive housing, you will only be limited to roommate match among other students who are also participating in those housing preferences. So if you have a friend who is participating in GIH and you are not, then you will not be able to roommate match. As well, for those of you who are a visual learner, as Sasha had mentioned previously, we do have a website that is listed at the bottom of the slide and the next few continuous slides, where we actually have PDF and video guides that will walk students through the roommate matching process, as well as the room selection process, which Sasha will get more into later. So just to address a few questions that students have in regards to roommate matching, now that our traditional and hybrid style halls will be single occupancy. So if you were planning on living in a traditional or hybrid style residence hall, you still have the option to participate in roommate matching, even though it is not required. So say that, for example, I wanted to roommate match with my colleague Sasha. We were going to be in a living learning community in Myers, and now we can no longer live together. But I still want to experience being able to be close to her within Drexel's residence halls. So I'm going to go ahead and participate in roommate matching. I am going to add Sasha as my roommate, and then Sasha will go into more details about this during room self-selection. But you all will be able to actually select rooms that are next to each other, even though you can't live within the same room. And then I believe we are having just slight technical difficulties with our presentation. So if you all will bear with us for just a few moments while we get this back online. While we are going through that, I will just go ahead and start going through the Zoom chat. And, oh, here we go. Perfect. I was going to answer a few questions, but here we go. So my colleague and I, when we were preparing this slideshow, we really wanted to go ahead and answer some popular questions that we've received from students. So one is, how can I find a roommate? Similar to what Sarah Olson had stated earlier, you're going to want to go into your Drexel One portal. You will click on the Campus and Community tab. You will click on the Housing and Dining link and then access your 2020-2021 housing application. So once you go through that, you will be taken to the roommate matching step, where you will be able to search by unknown user, search by living style questions, or you can search for suggested roommates. Again, the link that will show you the process in full through either a PDF document or through a video can be found at the bottom of this slide if you would like to view that later at your convenience. I previously touched on this, but if you have a known roommate, again, you can search them by their last name and their user ID. If you were admitted to an LLC, but your friend was not, can you still live together? Unfortunately, no. Students who are participating in gender inclusive housing, as well as a living learning community, will only be able to match with other students participating in those housing preferences. So how many students can be roommates? It is going to be up to a group of 6. That would be including yourself, since our suite style residence halls can be up to 6 students in a 3-bedroom suite. If you don't select a roommate, then during the self-selection process where you select your room, you could be administratively, or another student can assign themselves to that space with you. Or our office, if you finish self-selection and you don't have a roommate, when we go through and we administratively assign the rest of our student population, you will be assigned a roommate if you are in a suite style or apartment style residence hall. If you wish to live in Bentley, Millennium, Myers, or Towers, can you still participate in roommate matching? That is correct. You are more than welcome and you are encouraged to participate in roommate matching, but again, it is not required.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Maddie. And just to reiterate, we have this link at the bottom, which has a lot of wonderful, useful information about roommate matching, including a video of how to roommate match. So please do take a look if you're a visual learner, just like I am. Okay, so roommate matching starting tomorrow, very exciting. Okay. So next, we're going to talk about room self-selection. And so that's not going to start until June 15th, and it will start on the 15th and will go through the 19th. And so this is a really a cool opportunity for students who are in incoming status to pick their own room through our online room self-selection process. It is an optional step. However, I strongly encourage students to participate because then they get to physically pick their space for the fall, which is really exciting. So definitely take a look at the videos for how to select. We will be emailing you a time slot for when you will select, and then you'll have until the start of that time slot through the end of June 19th to select the space. Again, take a look at that link, very useful resource for you. Some FAQs that I'm sure you've already asked in the chat, and so we'd be happy to go over them together. And Maddie, feel free to jump in as well. What is room self-selection? I kind of like to think about it like picking a seat on an airplane. If you've ever done that, if you've ever flown somewhere and you've gotten that image of a plane and you pick the seat, that's essentially what you're doing with a room. You're going to pick the room that you're going to live in. And if you have a roommate, you can pick a room for yourself and for that roommate. How do you participate? We're going to send you a time ticket, and that is kind of your entry into the system to select a space. And we will send you instructions. And again, the link at the bottom will show you a video for how to do that. Fun music happening. Peter, if you could mute yourself, thank you. Okay, great. So can you select housing for you and for your roommate? Or how can you? That's really a great question. And again, that video is really going to help you clarify. When you roommate match, which is the previous process we discussed. So for example, if Maddie and I roommate matched, depending on who has a more advantageous time ticket, that person should go on and select housing for the two of us. And so that time ticket really is the entry into the process. So your time ticket could be on the 15th of June at 10 a.m. and your time ticket could be on the 18th of June at 3 p.m. So that is your entry into the process. Can a student in a living learning community participate in room self-selection? Yes, you can, but you'll be limited in what type of rooms you'll see based on that living learning community. So for example, if you are living in the LeBeau Living Learning Community, you'll be only selecting spaces designated to the LeBeau Living Learning Community in Myers Hall. So as an example, can I select multiple rooms for me and my roommate for Bentley, Millennium, Myers, or Towers? So those halls will be single in the fall, as we've discussed. But if you really want to live with your friend, and again, I'll use Maddie as my example. If Maddie and I really wanted to live together, but we want to live in Towers Hall, maybe we want a roommate match still, but then select 2 rooms next to one another in Towers Hall. So we won't be living with each other, but we'll be living right next to each other. So if you're interested in selecting a hall such as Bentley, Millennium, Myers, or Towers, you could still roommate match and pick someone to live next to, but certainly it's an optional step. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and review all of our dates for housing and for dining. Okay, so starting with housing, first year roommate matching will begin tomorrow at 10 a.m. and it'll go through Friday, June 19th. And if you're participating in online room self-selection, that will be June 15th through June 19th. And I'll let Chanel or Sarah go ahead and talk to us about the dining dates.
Thank you, Sasha. So Friday, tomorrow, June 5th through Monday, June 22nd, you have the ability to go in and complete for yourself the dining application as part of the housing application. After June 22nd, it does not mean that you no longer have a choice in your plan. What we do there is we auto assign you that middle of the road plan, and then you will have the option until October 2nd, which is our every term, the second Friday of the month. We do our, we have our like options for changes to be allowed in the plans to be adjusted, I should say, by the second Friday of each term. So for the first term, that's going to be October 2nd. So if you do not select your plan and you are auto assigned that plan on the 22nd of June, you can go back in until October 2nd to change to one of the other 3 mandatory first year plans. As it relates to your Dragon card and your photo, anytime from now, it's been open for the last few weeks and all, you can go and upload your Dragon card photo from now until, again, we would like to have everybody's photo by August 31st, which is a Monday. So we hope to have y'all go in and do your photo upload by, again, August 31st.
And I think I speak for the entire team when I say, please tell your dragons to check their Drexel email.
Yes.
Now that you've been admitted, now that you've been enrolled, that is the only way that our 2 offices will be communicating with you. So a lot of folks miss out on really important information because they're not checking their Drexel email. So please check your Drexel email. If you think your student hasn't received information from our office, they probably have. It's just at their Drexel email versus their personal email. So check your Drexel email is my PSA for the night.
Right off of Sasha, I mean, that was perfect. And on top of that, I do want to just make sure that everyone knows that Drexel Campus Dining did send out an email with a lot of the information that was reviewed in today's presentation, particularly the dining plans and those specific options with the dates that I'm referencing here on this slide. Some folks did not receive that email because we did see that some folks did not pick up their accounts yet through Drexel IT. So please make sure you picked up your Drexel accounts. So per Sasha's comment, you have full access to your Drexel email account and can receive all of our emails and correspondence. For those that did not pick up their account by today when I sent that email around Drexel Campus Dining aspects, we will be resending to those that did not pick up their accounts but pick them up by Monday at some point, Monday or Tuesday of next week. So you can again have access to that email that was sent out today.
Great, thank you, Sarah. So again, hopefully I'm speaking for the whole team. There's some resources here. There's a lot of folks joining us this evening and we're so excited about that. And I know you might not get your specific question answered as we move into the question and answer portion of the presentation. So please do reach out to us. We have the campus dining contact right there, along with housing and residence life and Dragon card. So this is definitely the opportunity for you to follow up if we don't get to your question this evening, but hopefully we get to as many questions as we can. So thank you for whoever took that screenshot. That is definitely a good resource, but all of this is located on our website. So we'll show this again at the end of the presentation. So happily, I'm gonna move us to the Q&A portion of the presentation. And so I'm gonna let Kate take it away and be our moderator. And we have a lot of resources here. We have, in addition to the 4 of us, there's some other really great folks from Drexel here and ready and excited to answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Sasha, and everyone who joined us this evening. I just want to say thank you for your patience. I was the one that had some technical difficulties. If you saw the terror in my eyes before the screen went blue, that was my computer dying even though it was plugged in. So I appreciate all of your patience as well as the assistance of my co-presenters when we're dealing in this technological world right now. So the biggest question that I am seeing come through right now, everyone can hear me okay? Yes, I'm connected.
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Okay, cool. Everyone can still hear me, which was another concern. One of the biggest questions that I see coming through is about COVID and the fall. That is a big question for us right now as well. We can let you know that we have a COVID-19 task force that has made and is making recommendations to President Fry and senior leadership about what fall should look like. We don't have that answer yet. We hope to have that answer for you in a couple of weeks. So in the interim, we are moving forward with the plan that was sent out by our housing team this morning, I believe is when the email was sent out to you and your students. If you have specific questions in relation to housing for the fall, I would highly suggest you email housing@drexel.edu. But in regards to all the questions that are coming in for COVID-19 and what fall will look like, we are just as anxious to have that information as you are. So just as soon as we have that final recommendation from our task force, that will be communicated with you. Also, the number one thing that is coming from our colleagues as well as some questions coming in is please, please, please make sure that you're picking up your Drexel accounts. Like Sasha just said, once you are admitted and you are getting your housing situated and your dining situated, the main way that our team is going to communicate with you is through your Drexel email. So please make sure if you have not picked up those accounts, please pick them up. If you're having issues and errors picking up those accounts, feel free to email it@drexel.edu and they'd be happy to assist you with that. All that being said, covering broadly as much as I could in 30 seconds, for the next 20 or so minutes that we have together, I'm going to go through some of the group chat and see if we can ask some questions of our colleagues here. This is more toward our occupancy team, more toward our housing and residence life team, but I think that our occupancy team can address it a little bit. What small appliances are allowed in your residence hall?
Yeah, absolutely. So students are able to bring in a microwave as well as a mini fridge. The mini fridge cannot exceed more than 2.9 cubic feet or pull more than 1.5 amps of energy, as well as the microwave cannot exceed 700 watts. As well, in regards to other appliances that students may be wondering about, no open heating element appliances are allowed within the residence halls. So no toasters, no George Foreman's. If y'all have any more specific questions or outside of those appliances, just shoot us an email and we would be happy to assist you with those.
Awesome. This question is for our dining and business services team. A lot of people are asking if there is a way to not purchase a dining plan. And how we address food allergies. So two-part question, can you not purchase a dining plan as an incoming student? And how does dining services address food allergies?
Sure. So I'm going to take the first one, and then I will pass it over to Nick Mendez, who I introduced, who's the district manager for Aramark within the Drexel Campus Dining program here. And for the can you not purchase a dining plan, if you're, as with the mandates for housing and living on housing, it's a similar mandate for the dining plans to ensure that our students are living safely, are eating wholesomely, and are able to have a full experience. There is a few, elements or accommodations for which we would allow someone to get off the plan, and that would be for a medical accommodation, for a religious accommodation, or a financial accommodation, which all have criteria and kind of some things that you need to make sure you fall within and provide in order to show that you are in need of that accommodation. All the details about that are on our Drexel Campus Dining, drexel.edu/business services campus dining. And there is a special accommodations page on there, which lists some more details. Please make sure to kind of keep revisiting that up until August to ensure you're getting the most accurate and up-to-date information around our accommodations processes. I'm gonna pass that over to Nick at this point. Unless, Chanel, did I catch everything the medical, financial, as well as religious are the only exceptions we would make if you fall into that criteria, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Nick, if you want to talk about the allergens and other dietary aspects and how we can assist those with any of those restrictions within our program.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. We actually have an on-site registered dietitian as well. She's not on the call at the moment, but I do have our executive chef, Tom Ramsey. So Chef Ramsey, you want to take that one?
Sure. We're actually very sensitive when it comes to folks with allergies. What we do is we label all the menu items that we put out there daily between each meal period. And on those labels have allergen information, which includes the top 8. So another aspect of that is if a student has some allergies that, they want to talk to us more privately about, they can speak to myself or they can speak to our campus dietitian. We usually work in tandem. And we can tailor out specifically what the accommodations may be for that given student, whether it be or includes us making specific meals for them for each given meal period.
And I see the questions pouring in about vegetarian options. Yes,
Sure.
I think, Tom, I think we did an evaluation about 63 entrees at any given time.
Yeah, we have over 60 options every meal period for students who are plant forward. So when we also have a vegetarian or vegan station at Hans, and then we also have one over at Urban Eatery. So to touch base on the next question, I see kosher. We do have a location for that as well.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So we're getting a couple of questions, and I'm going to throw this back to Sasha and Maddie about rooms being assigned. I think if we can touch again on self-selection and that rooms are not assigned unless you do not participate in self-selection, I think that would be really helpful.
I think, Kate, you're hired. You definitely could be a member of the occupancy team because you just you summed it up perfectly. So no one has a room for fall right now. So if you're asking where you're assigned, the answer is we have not made any assignments yet. Students will first have an opportunity to roommate match, and then students will have the opportunity to pick their own rooms during room self-selection. Following that, if you have not participated in room self-selection, we will then automatically assign you to a space. There are exceptions to the rule. There's folks who are assigning ahead of the process who need to be administratively assigned, but they are in the minority. The majority of students will have the opportunity to pick their own rooms, and only if you don't pick your own room will we then manually assign you to a room. And so all of that will be wrapped up by the end of June or early July.
Awesome. Thank you. And follow up to that, Sasha and Maddie, if students don't participate in roommate matching right now, and later in the term, in winter term, if we shift back to double occupancy, will they be randomly assigned a roommate? Do you encourage students to participate in roommate matching?
So the roommate matching process is a great question. The roommate matching process that's coming up tomorrow is for the fall only. It is not for winter quarter. So this is your roommate or the person you want to maybe live next to for the fall. For the winter quarter, we're still going to be in discussions about what winter quarter looks like. It's hard to make that prediction because we don't know whether those rooms will open up and become back to double occupancy. However, we will definitely keep into account that students might want to choose their own roommate. And so we'll have discussions about how best to do that. We don't have a plan yet because we don't know quite yet what's happening for winter. But the roommate matching process that's starting tomorrow is only for the fall. And then we'll discuss in the fall what we will do for winter quarter. Great question.
Great. Awesome. And a follow-up to that is about total occupancy on campus. We're getting some questions that if we are going from double occupancy rooms to single occupancy rooms in some of our hybrid and traditional style halls, will we have enough room for all students who want to live on campus for the fall?
Sure, that's a really great question, and I can understand the concern. So we will be able to accommodate all of our incoming first-year students. That is absolutely our goal and our priority. I have been working on every scenario on the planet with our leadership team to make sure that we can accommodate students in a safe manner. So as of now, I'm happy to share that we will be able to accommodate all of our incoming students.
Awesome. And if students are wishing to live in a suite style residence hall and they've only found 3 roommates for a 4-person suite, is there a random person that will go into that last slot? How is that last slot filled?
Maddie?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really gonna depend. So during the room self-selection process, if you and your 2 other preferred roommates do select 3 spots that are within a 4-person suite, another student who maybe didn't roommate match, doesn't have anybody that they are particularly wanting to room with and wants to be paired with random students, can actually, during the room self-selection process, select that vacant space within your suite. Or say the self-selection process ends and that vacancy is still available in your suite. What our office will do after that is make administrative assignments where we will administratively assign a student to that vacant space within your suite.
Awesome, thank you. We have a couple of questions popping up about LLC acceptance as well. We see that some folks have gotten notification about being accepted to an LLC, and some other students have not been notified about their LLC status. So do either of you know about a timeline when they might find out about their LLC status?
Absolutely. So all students should have been notified of their LLC status by May 27th. So if you think your student has not been notified, it's very possible they were notified to their Drexel email address. And so if they log in, they should be able to see that. If they're having email issues, which I really hope you resolve shortly, please log into your Drexel housing application. And in the left-hand corner, there's going to be a section for emails. And so any emails that you would have gotten about your LLC status would have been posted there. Also, there's going to be a step in the housing application which shows you your LLC, and LLC stands for Living Learning Community status. So the statuses could be approved, meaning they were approved to be in the Living Learning Community. They were on the wait list, meaning that Living Learning Community at this time is now full, but they are going to be considered in the future to be able to join, or that they were not approved to join that Living Learning Community. And so students should have all been notified about their LLC status. So please do check your email or log into your housing application and check it there, or view it as a step in your housing application. If you're still confused after following the steps, please do email us. We'd be happy to help you out. Again, your email needs to come from your Drexel email address, as we will not be sharing personal and private information with students to non-Drexel affiliated email addresses.
Awesome, thank you, Sasha. This is a question about furniture in the rooms. So if rooms are transitioning to single rooms, will there be double the furniture in a single room?
Yeah, absolutely. So since we are still determining what our winter and spring quarters will look like in regards to if we will transition back from single rooms to double rooms, the second set of furniture will remain in the rooms during the fall quarter, even though they will be single occupancy.
Awesome. When will students get their time tickets? That's a big question that is coming up as well.
That's a great question. So room self-selection is going to start on the 15th. So we will likely send out the notifications the week prior, so next week. So towards the end of next week, you will receive an email probably on Thursday or Friday with your specific time ticket. I strongly encourage you before starting room self-selection to watch the videos that we have created and guides on our website. And I'm gonna go ahead and click backwards in our presentation just to show you that link. If you go to Drexel University drexel.edu/housing, it's going to take you right to that page, and then you'll select freshman and then how to apply. We have really wonderful videos and guides created by Maddie right there in front of you with information for how to participate in roommate matching and room self-selection. They're very informative.
Awesome, thank you. If a student had originally requested traditional housing, but now due to the fact that it's transitioning to single and they would prefer to be in a suite style, are they able to switch that information in their housing application?
Yeah, absolutely. So students are welcome to return to their housing application at any time and update their housing preferences. I do want to tell students that that is not required though, if you are participating in the online room self-selection step. So even though on your housing application, you may have preferenced a suite style residence hall, but now you are considering a traditional or hybrid style residence hall, when you go on for the room self-selection process, you will actually see all residence halls that are available. So even though you listed suite, you will still have the option to select a traditional style at that time. If you don't plan on participating in the room self-selection process, then I would encourage you to update your housing preferences. So when Sasha and I administratively assign students, we have your accurate preferences listed.
I will add though that preferences are just that, they are preferences. So if, again, going back to my plane analogy, if you're picking seats on the plane, if folks had a chance to pick all of their seats, then whatever is remaining is what we were going to use to assign everyone else. So if you really wanted to be in, say, Towers Hall, and you chose not to participate in room self-selection and pick it yourself, we cannot guarantee that there will be spaces in that hall remaining when we do administrative assignments. So I definitely understand that folks have preferences, and we'll definitely try to utilize them when we administratively assign, but we do encourage you to try to select your own space.
Awesome. Thank you, Sasha. We have a couple of more minutes left. We're probably going to go about 5 minutes over to try to answer a couple more questions. A couple of questions that I'm seeing are, what can you bring to campus? If you go to the Drexel First Year website, there is, or the Drexel Housing website, there's literally a little tab on there that says what to bring, and it gives you an entire list of suggested items, sheets, towels, toiletries, and as well as things that you cannot bring as well. Sarah and Chanel and our dining team, we do have a couple more questions about dining. Folks want to know what happens if you run out of meal swipes before the end of the term, and how meal swipes are distributed with that through the week, through the term.
Sure. So we saw a handful of those questions kind of coming through. I think it was those couple. It was kind of, again, looking for some distinction between meal swipes and dining dollars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to our district manager from Airmark, Nick, and he's going to kind of just do a quick run through. He's been monitoring the chat and kind of try to take a couple minutes to summarize those pieces for us. Nick?
Yep, I'm good to go. I think I got about 6 questions here. I'm gonna try to nail all at once so we can get them done. So why did the meal prices change? So if you were looking before, maybe you came at the first weekend that you could come and visit, and you saw this year's meal plans. The biggest reason is we changed the program. So if you've seen Urban Eatery, was a retail food hall environment, and we're gonna keep that retail food hall feel, but we're going to be actually having an all you care to eat facility. So basically your student can swipe in, get a small snack, get whatever they'd like, and leave, and then come back an hour later and then get a full meal. They're going to use it as their own kitchen. It's an all access plan. All 3 of them are all access plans. So they will actually be able to come and go as they please into the 2 all you care to eat facilities. So that all access for those 3 is unlimited throughout the whole term. The entry cost is actually cheaper than it was last year. So the initial one was $50 dining dollars. So the dining dollars, which come with your packages, those are more for the retail outlets like Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, which the students do love. It says how many swipes per plan, so obviously that's unlimited. And can you change plans after choosing now? Yes, I think Sarah brought up the date was October 2nd, I believe. And then term to term, same thing. So you can change it between terms. You can change it even once you've gotten into that term within it's about a 10-day period. Not sure the exact date. Can you add more dining dollars? Go ahead, Sarah, what's that?
I said first 2 weeks of each term.
First 2 weeks of each term, thank you. Can you add more dining dollars? Yes, so while you sign up the first time, you could do it in $50 increments, and then same thing throughout the term if they run out of funds. And then dining dollars do transfer in from one term to the next. But it's an unlimited swipe, so that, that wouldn't make a difference either. They're unlimited regardless throughout the year. And summer dining plans are still to be determined for next summer, but we'll get them posted as soon as we do. And dining hours of operation are also still to be determined, but we do offer late night dining, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, and late night dining in both all you care to eat facilities. So there we go.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. We're getting a lot of questions about if fall is online learning and folks have paid for housing and meal plan for the fall, how does the refund process work? Sorry for that technical issue. If online is the way things go for the fall, for example, spring term at Drexel, this current term that we're in, was online. Students were not charged for on-campus Drexel housing or Drexel meal plans if they are not here. So don't worry about that. We're not going to charge you for housing if you're not utilizing it, because we can't let you utilize it. So hopefully that is a big answer to a question. To our occupancy team, we have some folks that are still confused on how you select multiple roommates without knowing if you get a multi-person suite. So if we can just talk a little bit more about how, if their desire is to be in a multi-person suite, how they select multiple roommates.
Yeah, absolutely. So just reading through some of the questions as Kate is going through this webinar, I would like to clarify that the roommate matching step and the room self-selection step are two separate steps within your housing application. So step 1 is going to be roommate matching, and step 2 is going to be the online room self-selection step. So first, with roommate matching, even though you don't know what residence hall you're going to be able to secure during roommate matching or during the room self-selection process, I apologize, I would still encourage you to roommate match. So form a roommate group with however many students you would like to live with, rather that have been 6 or 3 or just one other person. Go ahead and form a roommate group. If you go into the online room self-selection process during your time ticket that will be given to you next week via your Drexel email address, say that there are no more suite options that are available for you and your roommates. So you have to pick either a traditional or hybrid hall that is going to be single occupancy. Even though it's single occupancy, so you can't live in the same room together, you guys may be able to select rooms 801 through 805 in Towers Hall. So even though you can't live within the same room, you can still live on the same floor in the same residence hall and right next to each other. So you'll still have that sense of community. It just won't be within the same living space. I hope that that addressed your concerns and questions, and if not, feel free to call us or shoot us an email.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to try to really quickly, with the last couple of minutes that we have together, we are over our time, so I apologize for that, but address some overarching things that I'm seeing come in. Dining dollars and cash at retail locations are the same amount of money. So if you are Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, so the benefit of getting a plan and increasing the amount of dining dollars for the value aspect is because you're doing a lump sum, so the dollar amount will equate to you're paying less dollar per dollar for doing the bulk plans. On top of that, when you pay straight up cash at or credit, credit, at a experienced retailer otherwise within our plan, and you pay with dining dollars, there is no tax. So that's a very pointed difference. But again, I do want to really highlight, and I'll let Nick finish real quick, the value add of doing the bulk comparatively.
Sure. Yeah, just
dollars one at a time.
Yeah, and real quick, I mean, so from the first plan to the third plan, basically the first one comes with 50 dining dollars. The last one you can see it comes with 400, and it only costs you $300 to get the $350 worth of dining dollars. So the value is in buying up. To summarize it quickly.
Awesome.
And those
Cool.
dining dollars do roll over term to term. I see that question coming up again. So they do roll over term to term, just not year to year.
Wonderful. Those of you who, I'm seeing a bunch of questions, how do I find out what residence hall you're living in? Self-selection. Starting June 15th, it's sort of like choosing a seat on an airplane. You're going to get a time, say 8 a.m. 8 a.m., like you're choosing your seat on an airplane. I want to go in and decide that I want to live in Millennium 104. And if I see that there's this open space in Millennium 104, I'm going to assign myself to that space. If it's available, that's my room. Wonderful. If you don't complete that, that's when we will go ahead and assign you and say, you are living in Myers 113. So self-selection, starting June 15th, big deal if you'd like to choose your space. So number one thing there. Let me see. On the dining website has a list of locations that accept dining dollars as well as Dragon dollars. We have a question real quick. Can we explain the difference between dining dollars and Dragon dollars?
Sure. So dining dollars are accessible. Thank you for pulling this slide up at these facilities and within our dining program again, and are pertinent to our on-campus dining experiences. Dragon dollars, also dining dollars, meal swipes, meal plans are all able to be billed via your e-bill and be able to go through Drexel Central and whatever experience you have with those folks and getting that bill paid out. As it relates to Dragon dollars, that is, you can literally go on the Get app I referenced earlier, or uploading on our website, or going to the Dragon Card office to upload physical cash, and that is able to be used at some of these, at these facilities, as well as the retail locations that Kate referenced. But they are different experiences. The dining dollars do allow you to go into the all access areas with dining dollars for a discounted rate, things of that nature. Dining dollars are really just uploading to kind of like a debit account on your Dragon card. Again, for more information on this, please go to our website, drexel.edu/business services for Dragon dollars, dining dollars. Please go to the Campus Dish website referenced earlier, as well as in the email I sent y'all out, and we'll resend to those that didn't have access, just to make sure that you get all of your questions answered. Campus Dining at drexel.edu is our email account. Chanel Stepney, who you've heard from tonight, my assistant director, is able to quickly respond to all of your inquiries as much as we possibly can, as quickly as we can.
Awesome. So I'm going to throw one more question at our occupancy team, and then we are going to end our time together. A couple of housekeeping items. We did record this session. It will be posted on the same website that you registered for this on. If you have questions about housing, please feel free to email housing@drexel.edu. Our housing team is really great about turning around that email account. I'm constantly shocked about how much cleaner it is than my email account, so awesome. As well as our campus dining folks, campusdining@drexel.edu. And I will work to get a copy of the PowerPoint posted as well. Additionally, if there are any family web chats that you'd like to see that are not currently on our list of upcoming chats, you can email me at Sasha and Maddie, I'm telling people to email you more. You can email me at family@drexel.edu, and I'll see if we can coordinate that. So last question for Sasha and Maddie. Is the person with the best time ticket in your group able to select a room for all roommates, even if it's for a group of single rooms in a traditional hall?
Yeah, absolutely. So when time tickets are issued to students next week via their Drexel email address, if you and your preferred roommates or roommates that you find during roommate matching are in a confirmed roommate group, If you want to make sure that you are in a confirmed roommate group, please again go to the website that has been posted on this PowerPoint to review the PDF and video guides. Thank you for posting that here at the bottom. But if you are in a confirmed roommate group, the student with the earliest time ticket, I would encourage them to self-select on behalf of your whole group. If you go in and self-select for yourself and not your roommates, and then they go in and try to self-select at a later time slot, then that space may not be available for them to select. And thank you, Sasha. She is showing you where you can find our wonderful housing application guides, the roommate matching guides, and also the self-selection guides on our website.
Awesome. And Maddie, just for my clarification as well, the roommate with the best time ticket can also select multiple rooms, multiple single occupancy rooms in the traditional and hybrid halls.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. So students in my earlier example say that I am selecting on behalf of all of our wonderful co-hosts here. I would be able to select 6 individual rooms within the self-selection process for all of us to be assigned to.
Awesome. With that, I am going to say thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you for joining us here at Drexel. Have a good night.
And check your Drexel email.